Hi everyone, so welcome to card number 2. So starting off, I'm using Opal the Optimist, and this is from Stamping Bella, and I'm also going to use my favorite things, the hybrid ink and black licorice. So as soon as I'm done stamping her off, I'm going to take my spellbinder's dies, taking the second largest one, and this is Authentique Elegance, and I'm running that through my Cuddle Bug. So I'm just going to cut them out, and they're so beautiful, this paper line. I absolutely love it. So I went ahead and I cut that out. It took me a few times, so I just took it off camera. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trace her inside of this, so that way I can cut her down when I'm all done. And as you see, I take my scissors here, and now I'm going to slightly go a little bit outside that pencil mark and just cut it in. Okay, and then once I'm done cutting, I'm just going to take my eraser and erase that line, and then you don't even see it anymore. Now I'm coming in and I'm using my go-to colors, which is E00, E11, and E13. And this one I'm going to color up pretty quick just because she is a small thin image. I love coloring these are so cute. So I'm doing my typical shading, and then I use R20 for her cheeks. So after I'm done shading her up and getting her colored as I like, I move on to the bottle. I use YG91, YG93, and YG97, and I'm going to go ahead and make this look almost as it's reflective. So how I accomplish this is just going in with a little bit of shading back and forth, and basically I'm only going to do the darkest part on the outsides. And as I come in, I just go a little bit lighter, and I almost leave it as a white tone in the center, and this gives it the look of just being shiny. Next, I'm going in with her hair colors, and these are my new go-tos. They're E23, E31, and E47. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to build up my color using the valleys as my darkest, and then as the peaks I'm going to go in with the lightest colors. And I'm kind of debating where all her valleys are, because you want to kind of get into those darkest spots. So I just keep on doing this until I get it as I like. Getting it to the shades that I want it to be, and using my tip almost as a curl and just making little curls now in her hair. So for her dress, I'm going to use C3, C5, C7, and C8. And I'm just going to come in and I'm going to do little lines in her dress as well. I kind of went off the packaging for my shading, and that's how I accomplished this. So as you see, I'm kind of going underneath her bust line and then going where my shading would be the darkest. So this time my light source is going to be coming from the right. And then I'm going to be adding the shading to the bottom of her dress just to give it a little bit more definition. And now I'm going to go in with my second color, and I'm going to start pulling out that C8, which was my darkest shade. And then I'm going to do the same thing, going in with the C5, pulling out a little bit more. And then for the lightest shade is the C3, and what you just do is you kind of pull out all those colors together and just blend them, so that way you don't get any hard streaks. Now for the champagne and for the label, I decided to go in with the different color combos. I used the E31, E34, and the W3, and I really liked how that combo came out. So to finish this off for her dress, I went in with the R24 as my lightest shade and the R39 as my darker shade. And what I do is, because it's such a small area, I kind of do some dotting and just a little bit of lines, and then I go in and just fill that back in with the R24 and just blend it out that way. And I'm going to use this for the belt, her roses, and then for the ruffles on the top and on the bottom of her skirt. Now, I wanted to go ahead and use some shading. So I come in with my W0 and my W3 and go around the whole entire image. I originally was going in with the W0 and then going back in with the W3, but then I decided just to go ahead and do the W3 and then blend it out with the W0 completely. So yeah, this just gives her shading, so it makes it stand out a little bit more from the cardstock. So now I'm just taking my card base and I'm making an A2 size card, and I love this color. This is the Berrylicious, and that comes from My Favorite Things, and it's just this gorgeous blue and it matches this paper line so well. Now I'm taking my Distress ink, and this is the black soot, and I'm just going to go along the edges of where I colored and just darken those edges up. And then I'm going to go ahead and lay that down on top of the blue cardstock. And as you can see, I am assembling my card. And so I'm coming in with black cardstock, and then this is from the paper line, and everything I'm matting in the black just to make it pop a little bit more and make it more contrast. And like I said, this is the Elegance paper line, and it's so gorgeous. And I'm making this card an inspired Audrey Hepburn type card because that's what the paper line is. And I'm coming in with some of this black trim. This is the Mayarts, and I was originally going to make a bow, but I just couldn't, so I got frustrated and I left it as is. So I'm taping this to the back, and I'm just gonna make it a line, and that's all it's gonna be. And then I'm starting to put this up, and I put this up on foam tape, and I'm just going to lay it down on the card, making sure that I have it positioned well. Okay, and then I have this embellishment, and this comes from Recollections. So I'm just putting a few glue dots on the back, and then I'm going to adhere this to that card. And it took me a second where I wanted it, but then I decided in the center there. Now I'm just gluing this down to the actual card base, making sure I line it up evenly. And then once that's all done, I'm going to go ahead and do my sentiment using my Stampin' Majig, and this is the My Favorite Things. And this also is a sentiment that comes with the Opal as the Optimist. And I'm just making sure I line that up how I want it because I'm stamping it directly onto the cardstock. And then once I have it where I want it, I just go ahead, line it up, and voila, perfect every time. So for the inside, I'm also doing the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and frame it out in the black just to make it pop a little bit more and give it a little bit more interest to the inside. And I add 2 layers to the inside of the card. So now I'm trying to find out where I want that to land the inside, and I decided to go a little bit up. And so yeah, I ran out of my ATG at this point, so I'm using some double-sided tape that I have in my stash. Not well for doing cards, but it's great like if you're doing a bigger project. So next I'm going to take some silver stickles, and I'm just randomly placing dots in opposite corners just to give it more interest. And then I decided, you know what, I needed a little bit more to this card. So I'm going, actually sorry, this is the liquid pearls in silver. And then to get them to lay nice and flat, what I do is I pick up the cardstock and I hit it a few times. And this way it flattens them out and it makes it more pearl-like. Because if not, they kind of have a dome shape and they kind of stay like that and dry like that. So yeah, just flick it a few times and then it'll flatten them out. So now I'm taking the silver stickles and I'm just going and placing random dots. And then I decide That's not enough. So I take these jellies, and I got these from the Rubber Cafe, but apparently they do not carry them right now, and hopefully you should get some more in. They're beautiful and dimensional and gorgeous. So I just adhere those down to the paper using some of the glue dots, and I'm going to place 3 on each side that I've been doing in the corners. And then I want to add just a little bit more, so it looks like it might be a lot, but really the card is gorgeous in person. So I decided to add these little marshmallow sequins, and these ones come from Pink Posh, and I picked these up from, I believe, Simon Says Stamp. And then I'm going to use some of my glossy accents, and I'm taking the champagne bottle and the actual champagne and just giving it a little bit more gloss just to make it pop and more dimensional. And then, yeah, as you see, I'm adding some more of the sequins back on there. And then for the inside, I kind of wanted to match the outside. So I take some of the glossy accents and go on the inside and put some more of those sequins. Okay, and that completes my card for today. So this is an Audrey Hepburn inspired card. Not exactly Audrey Hepburn, but yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you like, and I will see you in the next video. Bye everyone.